Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. As always, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that now. So today we're going to do something similar to something we've done a few weeks or a few months back. We're doing some blower door testing to kind of look at how some different houses, as far as how they're built, whether they got zip wall sheathing on them, whether they got plywood and Tyvek, whether they were foamed, whether they were bibs and blown in. But we're looking at some different construction types and how the blower door performs on each of those. The house that we're starting at is about 8,000 some odd square feet under roof. And we'll wind up doing a breakdown of what our actual air exchanges are and our footages on each of these. But we'll be running this blower door and taking a look at how this house performs. This one is on a concrete slab that's insulated with fully foamed walls, roof deck. It's a completely encapsulated house. We're going to do this one and then head over to a couple more and kind of see how they all shake out. So we're at another house right now. This house is blown in blanket wall insulation with a blown in attic insulation. So much different insulation than what's in that other house. This one is also, the last one was zip sheathing and everything's taped and sealed up real well. This house is traditional 7/16 OSB with Tyvek. And so I think we're gonna see a pretty big difference. And Cody, we were talking a while ago that a baseline for what you guys do with TVA is 1 Pascal reading per square foot is kind of a good number.
Yes.
And that's one that you guys, if you were at that, are y'all going to really do any kind of sealing or anything for TVA?
We still do, air sealing as in top plates, crawl space penetrations and things like that, yeah.
Gotcha. But if it was less than that, would you do anything?
Not too much, no.
And are you seeing a lot of the ones you guys go into to do those energy evaluations, are they higher than that?
Oh, yeah, a lot higher.
Okay. Well, let's see what we get here.
Mm-hmm. Put one of those in there.
I'm very surprised. And so you have to, in that, you've got to tell it which ring you're using?
Yes, like this is the A ring, so we'll hit mode, configuration to A1, and we're at 50 CFM.
That's what we're trying to test too, is 50 CFM, right?
Yes.
One of 1500. Yeah, so the difference is though, this one is twice as leaky as the last one we were at. More than twice as leaky, because we're sitting at the same Pascal reading, but we're drastically smaller. And so, that house was over 8,000 square feet under roof, and we're at, 6 or something maybe. So, when we're getting that same number, our air exchanges are much higher based on that same reading then. I expect it to be leakier though.
It's at 25 CFM, and it's already at 30, and it's still saying low pressure.
So can you go below 25 CFM on it, or is that like our lowest point?
Yeah, that's the lowest one. See, there's 50. There's 25.
Gotcha.
Yeah, this one's super tight.
Okay, so we're back in the office. We've been in the field, done our blower door testing, and I think one of the first things that comes to mind, one of the first questions is, what does the blower door tell us? What's the point? So that blower door is a device that is going to tell us the overall air leakage within the house or building, whatever the building may be. And that air leakage, the blower door number that we're looking at in the testing, along with a little bit of math and the overall cubic feet, not square footage, but the cubic footage of the structure are going to give us a number. And that number ends up being the air changes per hour. So ACH, that's where that's going to come in. Okay, so what were our results and why do they matter? So house number one that we tested was a 0.91 ACH. That is extremely tight for stick frame construction. It's zip construction, foam insulation, and on a concrete slab. Anderson windows, very nice doors. We wind up with 0.91 ACH. House number two, a little bit different construction, but very typical of what we would see in our area and what has been traditional for at least the last 10 or 15 years. That house is constructed with OSB sheeting, Tyvek vapor barrier, a vinyl window. Insulation's pretty different. The R value is about equal to the foam because we used blown-in blanket. We wound up with about an R15 in the wall. That house had then blown attic space. House number one was completely encapsulated attic. 2.1 ACH. That is not the number that I was expecting. I expected that house to perform somewhere between 5 and 7. I really didn't think that there was any way I would see a sub 1 or sub 3 ACH level. Not what I was expecting. Okay, so house number 3, 1.16 ACH. Again, very, very good, very similar construction to house number 1 with zip, fully foamed, encapsulated attic. That one is on a basement, and so again, very, very tight. Number 4 was actually our office, 0.4 ACH, ridiculously tight. We were trying, in all honesty, to see how tight we could get this. That's pretty tight. Now, do you want your house to leak? Well, that's a little bit different question, but think about this. Do you want to be able to sit by your dining room window and feel cold or hot air pouring in around it? Standing by the door, feel it. Beside a light switch, you can sometimes in older homes feel air coming through the wall. And I'm sure you would say, no, you don't, because you got to think that each of those leaks, each of those areas, they provide a way for insects, rodents, pollen, dust, all those things to come in that you would say, no, I don't want that in my house. All right, so next, can you build too tight? And I think the answer is a absolute yes, you can. Well, did we build too tight? So kind of the general consensus of the industry is that it's sub 3 ACH. We should think about mechanical ventilation. We'll cover that more in another video. House number 1, house number 3 have an ERV, an energy recovery ventilator, built in to them from day one because we knew from some other testing and other builds that we've done that we would have good numbers on them. I wasn't expecting the numbers that we got, but that we would have good numbers. So the ERV was put in right off the bat. Now, okay, question that came up from my wife, Adam, that works for us. Okay, well, do we really want to build it so tight that we have to have this mechanical ventilation? First thing is that if your mechanical ventilation failed, you could simply open a window for a little bit, let some air in, But you also would, likewise, going back to, do you want your house to leak? You would say, well, no, I don't. I don't want those drafts and those things to take place. And we could even go as far, as extreme as this may sound, is that if we're doing the blower door and we see that we've got this really fantastic number, but we know that that number is going to result in mechanical ventilation, you say, well, I want to get it to 3.1, and we're at a 1, I'm going to go start drilling holes through the wall until I get that number up to where I want it. You would say, well, gosh, I wouldn't want to drill holes in my wall. Well, if you don't want to drill holes in your wall, you kind of got to do one or the other. You know, we've either got to make your house leak intentionally, or we've got to put mechanical ventilation in. Our office being at 0.4, we've ordered a small ERV unit to go in here. We were kind of testing. I really kind of thought that our air quality would stay decent because we're in and out quite a bit and that it would just turn over. We purchased just a really inexpensive, it's made by Autopilot, indoor air quality meter that meters CO2 levels. And our CO2 levels are simply off the chart. We're not having the air turnover that I thought we might have just through traffic. And that's why we're gonna have to do the ERV. So that's coming for here. What does indoor air quality matter? Well, if you've got allergies, if you have things like that bother you, if you don't want mice and rodents in your house, this air sealing helps with all of that, and we're covering all of that stuff. So one of the last things is I just want to make sure that you all are educated, and don't stop by watching me, because we're learning too. I've been building for 25 years, and I promise we're still learning stuff every single day. Go be educated as a buyer. Be sure that you know what you're getting. Be sure you know that if your builder is saying, oh, I foamed this house, you know, it's great insulation. Well, if they foamed it and they've not installed an ERV or done something for mechanical ventilation, I can pretty well promise you through our testing of our own projects that they have a really good blower door number. They've got a really good ACH on that house if they properly foamed it. And if it's been foamed properly, that house is very, very tight, and you've got to have this mechanical ventilation going on. And if you don't, you need to get with a good quality heat and air company and get that figured out as soon as you can. And not only do we worry about those CO2 levels, but it will create humidity problems. Those humidity problems carry right on through the drywall into that wall space that you can't see and that you may have problems with years down the road. So make sure that you're educated about what you're getting, and make sure that you stay aware of these things. If you're looking to build, make sure that your builder you're talking to has some information like this and knows that as we seal that house up more, we've got to do some stuff. Not only that, I really think we should be testing every single house. It should be part of the deal that, hey, we're gonna do a blower door at the conclusion of this build, and we're gonna make sure that if you are very tight, that we're telling you, so that if you want to, and you should, get this ERV, you should do something about it, that you've got that information in front of you to do it. So if you think that your house might be too tight, just give it a Google, look up indoor CO2 meters, get one, watch what your humidity is. You know, you don't want to see 70% humidity ranges. You don't want to see these really high CO2 numbers either. So get that, check out what you're doing. We're gonna have a video on ERVs coming up, and just really specifically talking about what they are, what they do, and why you might or might not need one. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you enjoy our content. Be sure and subscribe to us. If you're in our area, we'd love to help you with your upcoming project. So give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.